Welcome back to the Overheard Podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Gruda. With me always is Matty Rage behind the scenes. Thank you, big dog. Doing big work for us back there. Our guest today, oh my God, I came across your social media. If you haven't, you got to check it out. Haldan Borglum. Welcome to the show. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you're saying it right.
Nice. Where can people find your social media? Because that's what first attracted me to what you've done and what you plan on doing in the future. So where can they find you?
Yeah, I've got a website, haldanborglum.com, and then I'm also on Instagram, haldan.borglum. And yeah, those are the main two.
Right on. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. If you haven't heard about Haldan before, Canmore-based alpinist and former Canadian biathlete who recently became the youngest and fastest person to complete all 58 of the Canadian Rockies' 11,000-foot peaks. After 2 decades in biathlon, he turned that endurance and discipline towards the mountains, completing the list in just over 2 years and finishing with a remote solo push on Tusk Peak and Mount Clemenceau. That was the one that I saw. I think this was your All Trails or whatever.
Strava.
The Strava foot, like.
Yeah, the big long track. Yeah.
And it keeps going. And it keeps going. And it's not stopping neither. And it keeps going.
It's one thing to see the 2D map from above and see some stats, and then it's another to have those fly-throughs. It's,
crazy.
Takes you on the journey a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. Before we get too far into things, we got to check in with our main sponsors. This episode cannot be possible without our friends over at Drink Shaft. Get them at Townhouse Liquor. We'll be right back with you in just a moment. When it's summer in the Bow Valley, early isn't optional. First light on the fairway, glassy water at the shoreline, and that warm hit of sun that tells you the day is yours. But there's a difference between showing up and doing it right, and that, my friends, is Drink Shaft. Cold, nitro-infused, non-alcoholic. It's the Bow Valley's #1 grab-and-go cold brew. So start early. Do the day right with Drink Shaft. All right, Halden, let's get right back into it. How did you grow up, and what was your relationship with the outdoors when you were young?
Yeah, well, my dad had me on skis when I was about 2 or 3, so that kind of paints an early picture. He definitely wanted me to be an outdoorsy kid, so he had me on one of those leash things. And yeah, we were doing hikes when I was real young, 6 or 7. And then by the time I was 8 or 9, I started on a Nordic combined team through like a camp.
What is that for those that might not know? Nordic combined. That is cross-country Nordic skiing?
Cross-country Nordic skiing and ski jumping. So it's one of the...
What?
Yeah, it's a crazy one.
What?
It was kind of like... I wasn't a huge fan of the ski jumping. It's a little crazy. Like you're launching off
the
big ones, like where they like talk.
Yeah, nice.
Like wasn't going off the big ones when I was a little tyke, but it feels huge.
I heard of a controversy in that sport about the suits that they wear.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if that's so YouTube friendly. Them stuffing their regions that they can need a bigger suit.
Oh, so it's more aero.
So that they can float longer
damn.
by having a bigger suit. Prosthetics have been involved in this, allegedly.
What? Okay. Jeez, that's a bit of a... I'd never heard about that.
Yeah, I read about it somewhere. I follow some pretty obscure pages.
Anything to be aero, I guess.
That's it. So it's
the little advantages. Yeah.
Or the large advantages.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the ski jumping, and I mean, I was super young at the time. Yeah. It was tough training. Like you're using really big skis even when you're a little kid.
Huge.
And I had like a bit of a crash when I was young, and I was like, okay, that's enough of this.
Pass.
And the coaches for biathlon and for Nordic Combined actually knew each other, so they were like, you want to ski and shoot guns? And I was like, what's not to like? I'll do it. And stuck with it for 17 years after that. Pretty crazy.
Amazing.
No.
What was your life like before competitive sports? Do you remember your life before competitive sports?
I mean, I initially was just doing biathlon for fun. Honestly, for a lot of the time I was in grade school.
Sweet.
Like I was competitive, but it wasn't like I was training like I was a full-time athlete or Olympian. It was just like something I did because I was athletic, but wasn't super competitive. So just outdoorsy, but something to do.
When did that shift happen? Was there a moment where you thought, this is what I'm doing?
It honestly came right down to when I had to make the decision following high school of what to do. Mm-hmm. I was I was pretty much like, I'm going to university, going to start an engineering degree.
All right.
But yeah, my coach at the time did some serious convincing and managed to talk me into at least doing 1 year full time. Give it a try. And then school's not going anywhere, basically, is what he said. So
what does that look like? So you just kind of start training intensively and start entering what you get prize money for these races, or what's the
not particularly, unfortunately.
how does that being a professional biathlete look like? Like,
yeah,
how do you make it
basically,
work?
I wouldn't really say like professional implies that you're getting paid big. Like they're like, what's an example? Like a professional basketball player or something. They're making big money.
Salary for a team is a little bit different than
like there's carding for the highest level biathletes, but calling it professional, I don't know. Like you're a pro, but is it dictionary definition professional sport? I'm not exactly sure.
But the top in the like those Olympic heavy sports, I guess, I don't know, or Olympic forward sports.
It's kind of
it?
It's a gray area kind of. But basically, what it looks like is when you make that transition from like part-time, you're young, you're in school, to full-time, there are training centers in Canada. Yeah. So you're like applying to those, hoping that you get on one based on like your performances, and then hopefully you get on one. Then you move out to wherever they're based, and you start going from like, I mean, even when I was in grade school, I was probably training like at least 4 or 5 days a week, every week. But then it goes to 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, basically every week until this biathlon season is you start training in May, then you train all the way until start of November, then the competition season starts. Okay. And then you're competing from November all the way till end of March, and you have April off, and then you do it again. Amazing. So you're basically going 11 months a year, every year.
Well, of course, it's one of those sports. You're not really letting yourself get out of shape, right? Like you're always kind of pushing yourself to get better and better, especially the higher level you go. How did you deal personally with the change in lifestyle that comes with taking that on full time? Because that's got to be like, I'm sure you're eating more, you're training, because any more physical activity, you got to be fueling your body. How'd you do it, man?
I mean, it's a big transition. Like I was living at home, and then all of a sudden you're like living alone, and it's like, oh God, I gotta make all my meals for myself, and like, you gotta fuel more, like you said, and the training's more rigorous. You're working on the side because biathlon, unfortunately, especially when you're just at the training center level, does not pay the bills.
For sure.
So
you probably have to.
You're juggling. Yeah, exactly. So you're just juggling all these things. So it's a learning experience as you go. But as you work through the training over the months, you kind of get into the swing of things and you develop good habits, hopefully. And
take us through your mindset during a race when you're in a biathlon. You're physically exhausted, but you're also having to perform at an extremely high level, with aiming, with controlling your breath. Can you explain to our viewers what preparation for that entails?
Yeah, that's a good question. Biathlon's tough for sure. Like it's not just the physical side, like you said. It's also hugely mental, and you're doing a really hard exertion followed by you got to like chill out, focus,
be super precise,
hit these targets, and every target you miss, for those that don't know, it's a 150 meter penalty lap. So you're basically racking on another 30 seconds on your time. Every miss, and you're shooting 10 to 20 shots. So those could add up quick.
There's also tremendous pressure in every
shot. Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially once you get to the like world stage.
For sure.
It's like you're up to your neck in pressure sometimes. It can be really tough. So a whole lot of mental prep goes into that. I mean, part of training for so long, like 11 months of the year, you're either competing or training, is because you're just drilling in. Like you want to almost have nothing going on in your mind when you come into the range. You're basically like, you have a cue word maybe, or it's just quiet.
Amazing.
And then you can just focus. And then a lot of people have like a mental switch of, they're skiing, focusing on different techniques, and then, I'm a shooter now. And then
I've
divide
read
them.
Like two personas almost, or like performance personas, so to speak, breaking that up into two, where like one is more focused or more apt to this, and then you get to this other mental space.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It makes it more entertaining to watch as a sport as well, because it's not like, oh, okay, I wonder who's going to win this cross country race. The fastest guy is this guy. He's won the last like 8 out of 10 races. I wonder. Versus biathlon, the mental side is so huge that someone can choke, right? Like,
for sure.
It's almost like basketball or golf, kind of, with the clutch factor.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, on the day.
I was just going to say, like, mental space with golf, that's kind of where I went with it, and clearing your mind.
Yeah.
I read on my research that one of your winning races, you shot 18 for 20.
That was actually my last individual
Your
race.
last individual
my very
race?
last. Yeah, I sold the rifle the day after.
That's pretty clutch, dude.
Yeah.
That's clutch.
It was interesting, like, way for things to just come together right at the end, and just like you can have butterflies with big races, but it seemed like the butterflies flew synchronized that day.
Do you think having it be your last one kind of alleviated the pressure, maybe? And you're just like, you know
For
what?
sure,
Just
some
gonna enjoy it.
enjoyment.
Yes.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It was awesome.
That's great. What would you say are the less visible sides of training for biathlon that people out there might not know about? Like we already mentioned a little bit of the mental side, the training side.
Yeah.
What would be the biggest overlooked aspect of the training process that you think people wouldn't know?
There are a few things dealing with the recovery. So, like, you're rolling out, like, your muscles and everything get tight, especially when you're on a racing regiment. Like, sometimes you're doing multiple days in a row.
Wow.
Like, maybe, I think the most I ever did was 3 or 4 races in the span of, like, 5 or 6 days. So you're pretty messed up by the end.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're really having to stay on top of that. And then, yeah, even eating. Like, you're having to fuel so much that you almost get sick of eating. Like, you get back from a tour and you're like,
You're not
I'm
hungry, but you
having
have
like
to
2
eat.
meals a day because that was terrible. Like, you're not even cooking, but
Yeah.
because like the meals are made for you, but still you're just like, oh, this is kind of brutal. You're just having to stuff yourself every night to stay on top of it, right?
For sure. It's almost like bodybuilder intake of calories
Yeah,
because you're putting
yeah.
out the same exertion, but in a different way.
Yeah, because you'll be lighter by the end of the season. You might be like 5-10 pounds lighter because
Wild.
it's just so intensive on the body. But then another side is dry firing, which is like basically when you're holding the rifle and like it's called dry firing because you're basically shooting it, but there's no bullet in there.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like a paper target on the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like repetition, getting the repetition in because there's like a process, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that is probably the most grindy part of it because it kind of sucks and you gotta like want it bad to
So
do
you gotta
it.
like develop a pre-shot routine, I would assume, some type of
Yeah.
repetition. Can you take us through what yours was?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
I mean, everybody kind of knows instinctively once you get to a certain point of biathlon that dry firing is going to help you.
For sure.
But people, it's hard to commit to it for sure. It's
Yeah.
a big time consumer, and it's like motivation wise, it's tough because you're just like staring at a target on the wall, right? Like there's no satisfaction of hitting the targets. But what I got into over the years was just like before every shooting session, I do like a 10-minute dry fire holding session of either aiming at targets or lines or whatever, controlling the like barrel control or fine aim, or actually doing the dry fires at the targets. And then sometimes I would do that would be before the morning session, and then maybe in the afternoon I'd do something else, just another one. But
So definitely one of the less glamorous
Yeah.
or fun sides, but you feel maybe that. Do you think that helped you the most?
for sure, the year I committed to it was like kind of a make or break year in my career, and
Amazing.
I mean, I made it further than that, so it worked out. But
Let's go, man.
Yeah, I'd say it was kind of a pivotal moment.
That's a great lesson for those out there. I feel like sometimes it's maybe the things you suspect the least, right? Like, oh man, that's boring. It's less action. Like, how could this possibly help me when in fact that muscle memory and like the things that you repeat a million times do in fact help you
Yeah.
in the long run.
And the thing with
Cool
that
lesson.
is like people know it's going to help, but they push it off because it sucks. So sometimes doing the hard work is worth it, even if
sure.
it is brutal.
100%.
Yeah.
So where does all this translate into the mountains? Where did
Yeah.
you start your adventures into the mountains, and obviously how did it amplify to where you are today?
I always liked mountains as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun. And through foothills, when I was young, we would do hikes around Canmore and general areas. But yeah, it wasn't until I had already lived in Canmore for a bit, and I think it was around the COVID time that there was not as much to do. So you're just like,
Nothing.
okay, I got all this free time. Maybe I'll just start doing some hikes, and it's addictive. Like especially around Canmore, the town's encircled and stuff, and it's like
For sure.
not hard to do them. Like they're right there. So
I feel like it's addictive. Once you get one objective, you kind of go, oh, like I could do this.
I could do that one
next.
and
I
that
could do-
one. Yeah, exactly. And then you start traversing them, and then you're just down the rabbit hole at that point.
I don't know. Scrambling for me is kind of where I drew the line.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had my first round trip of Yamnuska.
Oh yeah, the loop.
I hadn't fueled my body properly. So
Oh,
I got
yikes.
to the chains and I was like, I had this reaction where I was shaking, I was sweaty,
Oh,
and I
gosh.
felt like I couldn't hold the chain properly because I was sweating. So I had to like
Brutal.
stop and eat and like really kind of ground myself before moving forward.
Got it done though.
Yeah, I got it done.
There
It was
you go.
great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. I'd do it again. I think doing it a second time, I wouldn't like. Of course, I would eat much better before going up. I know that now, but yeah, I think once you do it one time, it kind of that threshold gets pushed a little bit higher. That ceiling,
And you
gets
know what
pushed
you're
a little
getting into
higher.
if you do it
100%,
again.
right?
Yeah.
So now, like one of my favorites, I like Tent Ridge is a must do every year for me.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I try to get people that wouldn't do it to do it because just that one little.
Yeah,
part-
on the what is that east side? The east, like the left side. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
part's the tricky part. for
Yeah,
sure.
so you go up there. There's this little bit like I love seeing people that are like not comfortable conquering.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that was sick.
Heck yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as far as I push it, man. That's too crazy.
Hey, you
for
never
me.
know. You never know.
For
You just
now.
gotta keep taking up. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first 11,000er? And can you take us through that experience?
I can. So my first 11,000er wasn't actually a part of the project.
Okay.
The actual project had a few repeats.
Yeah, fair.
Because I had done 3 of these before I started working through the list.
Nice.
But yeah, the first 11,000er was Temple. And yeah, pretty memorable actually, because this was back when you could still drive up the road,
Yeah.
like park at the end. And my buddy that had done it a few times knew I wanted to do it. And it was right near the end of the season before it gets some snow, and then
Yeah.
you don't want to do it if you don't know what you're doing. And he was just like, "Hey, you want to do Temple?" And it's like 2 p.m. and I'm like, "Okay, like tomorrow?" And he's like, "No, tonight." So I was like,
Sick.
"Oh God, okay, you sure about this? I guess we'll get packing." And I think we were started from the parking lot at some crazy late time, like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. And he's a former biathlete as well, so we're
You
both
guys
pretty
are-
fast,
yeah,
pretty
you guys
fit.
are moving for sure.
But yeah, I just remember we're like blazing up this trail. Everybody's going down. We get to, I think it's called Sentinel Pass.
Yeah.
It's right next to it. And people are like, "Do you know what you're doing?" Like, what?
Don't worry about it. We're
And
athletes.
yeah, we just kept pressed on. He was experienced, so I trusted him. I mean, that was my first time doing something like that, so
Yeah.
I was relying on him for sure. But yeah, I think it was pretty much dark by the time we summited. But you could see some red glare from forest fires in the ghost area that year.
No
So that was
way.
kind of cool. And then we had the headlamps on all the way
Yeah.
down. And I think back at the car, like 10, something like that. So it was a pretty fast round trip, like 5 hours, 6 hours, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so this is a big question and something that really kind of piqued my curiosity, right? Like I've seen, what's that dude that did all the
Something-
Mims Persia?
Oh, the 14,
The 14
8,000ers.
Yeah. So speed is a big part of this, right? The fact that
Yeah.
you're able to complete these, do you feel like having that endurance, of course having that endurance already built is a huge tool, but minimizing your time in this terrain so that like weather is less of a factor, right? Like
For sure.
you're not having to overnight these things and spend the time like recovering or sleeping on the mountain.
And also, if there's a weather window that's 12 hours long,
Yes.
then you day trip.
Yeah.
Versus if someone has to do it in a few days and they need a heavy pack on,
For sure.
are they going to want to be approaching and exiting in terrible weather? Probably not. So it just gives you more options.
For sure. Like that's got to be such a huge tool when you're planning compared to most people.
For sure.
Well, like if you're looking at say a summit or like a beta and it says X amount of time, what are you normally taking off for your pace?
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm taking a chunk off, just
Yeah.
like, oh, I can do that this fast. It's kind of like I would look at pictures and like what the mountain entails and be like, okay, I can probably do it in X amount of time.
Cool. So like more of an educated guess than a like it's by rule kind of this much.
Yeah, like sometimes I had no idea if it would be reasonably done in a single push.
Yeah.
Or like no overnights, just go car to summit to car.
Yeah.
Like just going for
And
it
we're
and
doing
seeing
it.
how it goes,
Yeah,
basically.
sweet.
So there's some experimenting that happened along the way, big time, for
Wild.
sure.
What's going through your head when you're going out on one of those missions where you're going car to car? Like,
Yeah,
we're doing this?
you're like, okay, we're in it now. It's a different kind of suffering because the 11,000ers involve a lot of suffering. Like, you
Yes.
gotta love the mountains
For
and
sure.
want it pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have the heavy pack side, which kind of sucks. Like, I had to learn how to carry a heavy pack through doing this project. I had never carried more than like 25, 30 pounds on one of these things. And
Fair.
all of a sudden you're doing like 50 pounds, 60 pounds sometimes,
Yeah.
which hurts.
Which takes a lot of
really
your-
bad.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so hard.
100%.
So yeah, there's that versus like carrying a 50-pound pack for 3 days versus, okay, we're going fast and light, but it's going to take 20 hours.
Yeah.
So you're like going for a long time, like you're fighting your body. So it's, which one do you pick, you know?
So a lot of these, so like Temple, you could walk up Temple, right?
I
Or
wouldn't
is
call
there-
it a walk,
is
but
there's some scrambling sections?
yeah, it's a difficult scramble, I would call it.
But a lot of these other mountains, you're having to rope up and physically climb them, correct?
Yes, there's like roping up for a glacier on a large amount of them, or some of the more technical ones, you're getting a belay or like not top roping, like leading
Yeah.
up or rappelling down. Yeah, there's some technical stuff.
Where did you learn all these skills? And like,
Yeah.
was that just picked up as you went, or did you like set yourself aside and say, this year I'm learning, this, and this?
Definitely having some good mentors before was a big part of it for sure. Like one of my buddies taught me how to rappel before we did the Rundle Traverse like a few
Cool.
weeks later. That was before the project. So yeah, I don't know if you know, I had like a Canmore mountain list project before the 11,000ers where I
Okay.
just basically bagged everything around Canmore.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge foundation for the 11,000ers. So I didn't have experience on snow per se. So I had to learn how to snow climb.
Yeah.
And didn't really have a ton of rope work experience, but
So your Canmore mission,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, your Canmore mission's probably like kind of like busted your chops for your larger excursions later.
Exactly. And
Sweet.
like some of the stuff around Canmore didn't really have any info, so I'm getting good at route finding and just working the skills that ended up being really, really useful on this project. Like, yeah.
So let's dive into the project.
Mm-hmm.
When does the project come to light, and when do you realize that it's a record you can absolutely shatter?
Yeah. Basically, Forbes was the first one, and that ended up happening June 8, 2024. I had just done a glacier travel and crevasse rescue course before that
Sweet.
in prep for doing something big. I was
So
like,
you're
okay, I'm going to do this course so I don't look like a dummy when if something happened to me on a glacier, or like your partners want you to be trained.
Of course.
So-
people won't go.
Yeah, they want you
won't
to
bring you.
They want to know
Yeah.
that they're in good hands if they fall in a hole on the glacier.
You're only as safe as your partners out there.
Yeah,
right? So-
exactly. But yeah, after doing that glacier course, went for Mount Forbes. That was brutal. Just packed way too much stuff that I definitely didn't need. It's a learning experience for sure. So learned a lot on that one. And after that, kept ticking them off. I was used to doing a lot of mountain trips because with the biathlon training, it was like something to get away from the roller skiing, which gets a little bit old after years
I
and
see the
years.
roller skiers in Canmore all the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
man. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. The new build at the Nordic Center with the big concrete, like, there's holes in it from the poles from
The new
poling up.
build, like
Not
the new
build,
roller
but
ski track,
Yeah, like the new roller ski.
the one that
from
goes up the
start.
super steep.
Oh yeah,
I
dude,
think
there's
they
holes in
closed it.
crazy.
They did some crappy paving on that. It's banked the wrong way, so I've seen some people go flying
way,
off. Yeah,
dude.
it's sketchy. They should
got-
fully close it.
I'm telling you, they got some. Maybe that's where you found this braveness inside you, is
Yeah,
your experience on the roller skis, because that looks gnarly.
It can be scary for sure. There's no brakes. You're basically just like kind of either super wide
Pizza-ing,
stance
like-
and like putting friction on the wheels to slow down,
Yeah, yeah.
or you're kind of like stepping
Stop.
to slowly stop,
That's nuts.
or just aim for the grass. Like,
Dude.
it's not great.
Back to the list. Did you know that you were going to attempt this after your first one, or was it something that came along shortly after?
Yeah, basically, I didn't know. That wasn't the plan. I just wanted to do the peaks
Yeah.
because, like, I had known that I wanted to do some of the stuff on the list in advance. I had seen trip reports. I was like, oh, Assiniboine looks so cool. And Robson one day, that would be a dream. And then, yeah, after I did Forbes, I was checking off some of these other ones. That's kind of where I started kind of getting a circle of partners after that. So had people to go out with versus before the trip. I didn't really know any people that would be willing to do that.
Yeah, fair.
And then come August of 2024, that's kind of like near the tail end of the climbing, because then I have to lock in on the biathlon training since trials is coming up.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think I had done 18, and I started in June. So it was like, so I was
sick,
like, okay, that's a pretty good pace.
Yeah,
Like, search it up. How long is the speed record? Oh, the speed record's 5.5 years. 18's like a third.
Yeah.
So I could beat this. Like, I didn't think I would do it in 2 years. I thought, yeah, maybe like 3 or 4, but I was like, oh, maybe I should go for that.
How did your speed pick up once you finally committed to it?
Yeah, I definitely.
Sounds like tremendously.
Yeah, especially once I retired from biathlon this little bit ago. But yeah, the second year going for it in 2025, yeah, it was like started in, when did I first start? I think April I was doing some on the ice field, so you can imagine that was pretty cold.
For sure.
Yeah, but it was just getting after it a little bit more, and then after retiring from biathlon this past like February, March, just as soon as I could, I actually did a trip in February, which was wild. It was like spring conditions, luckily.
Fair. Where was that?
It was just north of the Columbia Ice Field Info Center.
Okay, yeah.
Just, they're called Woolly and Diadem. It was a couple. So, yeah, got some actually in proper winter, which is neat.
Okay, in my research, I got to mention this too. Not all these summits, in fact, most of them are not just roadside, right?
No, hell no.
Like,
no.
what are some of the ways that you have to access? I saw some pictures of you on skis. I saw some water traverses.
Yeah.
How are you getting there? How are you planning these excursions out?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning involved. There's like trip reports online sometimes, but for the more remote stuff, sometimes you're pioneering if you don't want to do it a certain way. Like, for example, the final mission, Clemenceau and Tusk, it was like, okay, most people Hellion, but if you want to approach without air support, then you can either hoof it for a week from the 93 North or some other Forest Service road, or you can canoe across the Kinbasket.
Yeah.
Pick your poison. And it was like, okay, well, not doing a week-long approach, that's out of the question.
For sure.
And then if you can't canoe, then, well, good luck. Like, you gotta...
You're paying.
Yeah, or you're finding a new way to do it. So that's like, that was the crux of like planning. But for other stuff, it was like, yeah, driving hours at a Forest Service road, and then maybe there's a creek crossing or stuff like that. And that's not even guaranteed gonna work. Like, I had one in the past, like at the very end of the project, where we're driving out this Forest Service road. It's supposed to be a day trip from the end of the Forest Service road.
Yeah.
And then 20 kilometers from the end, it's still snow covered and we can't drive it. So our day trip turned into a 3-day mission of us just hoofing it and skiing up the road, then do the peak, then get all the way out. It was that was
wild.
Hard. Yeah.
So problem solving definitely
being able
a big part of your mental strategy.
Adapting on the fly.
Man, you probably could have been a pretty good engineer if you
Yeah, I mean, that door is always there. You never know.
Yeah, I always go back.
Yeah.
Let's talk preparation. How do you even begin to find a route that's never been done before? Is it like Google Maps? Is it having the open mind of just getting there and figuring it out? What is the usual approach?
A bit of both of those. For example, like saying a route that's never been done before, it's like hard to know what's been done. Like, there's a potential for somebody to have done it before, and then no one knows because they never post it, right? But yeah, when I think back to like examples of doing stuff differently, it's like, oh, some crap happened, we have to adapt. Oh, this looks like it could go, or this is like a trail, let's do that instead to like bypass, or just like adapting. Or with the Yeah, I guess there's actually a few good examples, man. Yeah, the last few
I'm
11.
sure you have like plenty, right?
Yeah, lots of. I mean, those 58 peaks were 30 different missions.
Wild.
Like 30 separate trips.
Yeah.
And there were three, failed trips along the way. So I guess, you could say 33 excursions. But yeah, of those, there were definitely a number. But especially at the end, it was like I didn't save the technically most difficult ones. Those were kind of more front loaded, thankfully. So
Cool.
didn't save those for the end. But logistically,
Yes.
the hardest ones were at the end.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. Like Edith Cavell. I don't know if you've heard much about that one.
No,
but
tell us about it.
The Jasper fires that happened a couple of years ago completely wiped out that area, and the road to get in there has been closed.
Okay.
And like for the foreseeable future, no sign of opening, and they don't want people walking on it or anything for liability reasons. So what used to be a drive up the road and nice little day trip turned into a 3-day trip, and we're like, that was completely pioneered. We might be the first to do that route where we're going up a separate pass and then bushwhacking down to the base of the mountain, then going up it and then reversing the whole thing. It's like, lots of just figuring things out, using your like map reading abilities, stuff like that.
What do you think's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself out there when you're encountering these insane obstacles?
Yeah, that's a good question. Lesson I learned about myself. Yeah, I would honestly say it's like having the ability to be tough when you need to be is pretty important, and just like
You sound like a pretty
sometimes
tough dude, man.
sometimes you have to be willing to grit your teeth out there, and doing those trips kind of pulls the curtains down on
How does
like
that affect
what are you capable of, and like how bad do you want it, and that kind of aspect.
How does that affect you in your regular life when you're not?
That's a good
out
question
there?
too.
Yeah.
I would say it definitely made the biathlon training feel easier. I'll say that much. Where it's like, okay, 3-hour roller ski. I did a 26-hour push the other day. Like, this is nothing. This is the warm up. So yeah, it definitely affected some things.
Calm down the other aspects of your life.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think I heard in an Alex Honnold clip or podcast or something, he was talking about how people get like so stressed in the airport, and it's like, is there any real threat there? Like, even if you missed your flight, there's going to be another one eventually. It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
like I
for
feel like I
sure.
don't get stressed in normal situations as much. Like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's nice.
Very cool,
Yeah.
man. Let's talk about the final mission.
Sure.
The Tusk and Clemenceau mission.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a failed attempt.
Couple
failed
Yeah.
attempts. What
Yeah.
happened there?
First attempt, we were going for, basically to kind of give a feel for where these peaks are. They're so remote. Basically, you have the 93 North to the east. You have the Kinbasket Lake to the west, which is a man-made lake that's like 260K long, like huge land barrier.
Big old
Yeah,
lake,
it's just in the way. And then, you have like Jasper's a bit to the north, but then it's just this huge expanse of wilderness. And you have some Forest Service roads that kind of get close, like into the general area, but they're still like 45K away as the bird flies. So anything but a easy journey.
Yeah.
But basically we were planning to do what other crews had done that did it self-propelled. Not many, but they would canoe across Kinbasket Lake and then approach on foot from there, and then get the peaks and then reverse it all.
Yeah.
So first attempt, loaded up the canoe. We're going out there. Vehicle breaks down that's carrying the canoe.
Oh no.
So
Are you in a
that's out.
multi-vehicle like mission, or are you just?
We did
one
have a
vehicle?
couple vehicles.
Cool.
But
Because you break down
vehicle
by yourself
died
out there, you're.
Oh
cooked,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like,
Well, thankfully we didn't get far from Golden. So, that was very frustrating though. And then second attempt, we got all the way to Mica Dam, which is basically off of Kinbasket, where you want to put the canoes in.
yeah.
Get the canoes in, and from the shore, it looks all right. Like maybe tiny little ripples, but didn't look like anything too serious. But we're also amateur canoers, so we don't know what the heck we're doing.
Yeah, fair.
And get the canoe in the water, get all the bags in, not a small amount of gear. Like that's a weighed down canoe.
Yeah.
And then we start going across, and after we get a few hundred meters out, it's like, oh God, there's some waves here. And you don't want to be like parallel with the way the
Definitely
waves
not.
are flowing, or I guess would that be
'Cause
parallel?
that'll tip you.
Yeah, you
Or
don't want to be perpendicular. You want to be
yeah.
parallel to the way they're flowing.
Yes, you want to be cutting through them.
Exactly. So yeah, we're trying to go that way, and the waves are flowing this way. So we're like, in order to be the right direction, we're going straight out to the middle of the lake, which is just not where we want to be
where you
going.
wanna be,
And
no.
we're like, we're just having issues. Like, we're having trouble keeping the canoe straight.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, the waves got 2 feet high. So it's like proper scary. The water's getting kind of
God.
close to the like lip of the canoe. So we're like, okay, abort. We're done. Turn this thing around.
Keep in mind, for like super adventure forward people, this is probably your least comfortable skill set is being in a canoe. Right?
Oh yeah, like open water is freaking scary, man. Especially when it's big waves. So yeah, we didn't want to.
And not to mention your gear. You lose that gear, it's gone.
The canoe capsizes.
Yeah.
That gear's at the bottom. You'd have to come back with scuba gear to get it. And not to mention the water is probably frigid.
Your
You
own
might get
safety.
hypothermia.
Yeah.
It's not easy to flip a canoe back around
No, it isn't.
once it capsizes.
Yeah.
So you'd probably be like swimming and pushing it back to the shore. Good luck. So yeah, we turned around.
Smart play.
Yeah, that was also pretty frustrating.
What about the second attempt?
That was the second.
That was the second
Yeah,
attempt.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the first one was the vehicle, second one was
Second,
the wind.
yeah.
Let's talk about the final push because there
Yeah.
were some hiccups in that one too.
For
from
sure.
what I read.
For sure.
Take us through it.
Yeah. Initially, had been thinking, okay, I'm never going back to that lake with a canoe. That's just going to be like motorboat.
Yeah.
Because I still
Okay.
didn't want to fly in.
Yeah.
But was like, okay, if we took a motorboat, then at least you don't have to worry about the waves, right? Like at
Or
least you
less
would
about the
think.
waves.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But still kind of a gamble, and it's just a pain to deal with the boat when you haven't really ever done that. But yeah, one of my buddies looked into satellite imagery a bit. I guess he was kind of looking for different options that we could take, and he noticed basically it was what looked like a gully off of the second most remote peak on the list that we could potentially use to like connect to an alternate approach route.
Cool.
So Clem and Tusk are like the most remote. This other one, Sar Mountain, is the like second most remote.
Yeah.
But we had done that one together, and he was like, "Oh, we could just go up this Kinbasket River Valley, maybe get up this gully, and then find our way in there."
Interesting.
So yeah, we were like, okay, if it avoids the damn lake, then we'll do it. So yeah, we got our butts out there like a couple weeks after that second failed attempt, just like waiting for a good window.
Yeah.
And it's tough because like when you're planning, we had planned for it's going to take us 2 days to get in, 1 day for each peak, 2 days out. So sometimes you have to approach in some crap weather.
For sure, to make sure
Or
that your
like-
peak days are good.
Exactly.
Right?
You want the best weather when you're at the top.
100%.
So yeah, we get to Golden. We're driving out Forest Service Road. It's like not 300. It's like 140 kilometers of Forest Service Road north of Golden. So that's just to get to the start point. That
How
kind
long
of
does it
paints a
even
good
take you
picture.
to like to travel that forestry road?
Yeah.
For 400 kilometers?
Not 400.
Or, sorry,
140.
140.
Yeah.
That still takes.
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah, we're not talking
Yeah.
about going 100 kilometers an hour on the
Heck
highway
no,
here.
no,
We're talking
like-
about much slower pace, probably,
Yeah, max 60.
Yeah.
Sometimes like 30.
and
Yeah.
uneven roads.
Lots of turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And you're
my
like getting
God.
car sick
Sorry.
by the end. But that's just to get to the start point where you like leave the vehicles and
Wild.
start getting out there. But yeah, anyway, we start heading up this Kinbasket River Valley. The one partner that had scoped out the gully actually showed up a day early to cut a bunch of alders in that first 10K strip that like gets overgrown.
Yeah,
Used to
yeah.
be a Forest Service road in the 80s or something, but not anymore. But shout out to him
What?
because otherwise we would have been like
Dude.
thrashing through some terrible bush.
Amazing. Big
But-
shout out.
Yeah, it's big. But yeah, then we get out that first bit, and then it kind of opens up. But yeah, basically it's the Kinbasket River Valley, and as you kind of expect from the name, the Kinbasket River flows down
course,
that.
yeah.
So after that initial bit, you're at the river. Levels were definitely higher than I had last been at it. So it's like, okay, geez, let's hopefully make this work, but see how it goes. And me and my buddy that has scoped out the route were fine, but our other guy took a dunk in the river, so that wasn't so good. And it's like glacier.
Yeah,
temps.
it's
like
cold.
glacier runoff. So
For
yeah,
sure.
very cold. But he's a stubborn guy, so he wanted to continue. So
Good on him, man.
yeah,
Good on
we
him.
press on, and then it's about 20K from the cars to where we wanted to start up this gully.
Yeah.
So already a big chunk of distance. And then I think it was like sometime early in the afternoon, we start up this gully. It's much nastier than it looked on Google imagery. So that stuff only does so much for painting the picture. You have to kind of see it to 100%.
100%. Till your boots on the ground, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just like battling up this thing. I've got 65 pounds on my back.
Yeah.
And it's just like
not
grueling.
Easy travel.
No, steep too. It's loose crud. Like, yeah, so hard. But we get, I think it was like 2/3 up. And it started getting pelted with rain. Okay. So just threw the tent out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like difficulty after difficulty. But yeah, we threw the tent out, just set up there for the night. And yeah, I could tell the stoke in my buddies was starting to dwindle a little bit.
Fading quick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was feeling it too a bit because it's like, man, we're getting pelted with rain. This sucks. But yeah, next morning, my buddy actually that had taken a dunk in the river was bivy sacking, and it definitely rained overnight, so he got even more wet. So yeah, morning comes around and he wants to bail.
Yeah.
And then my other guy that had scoped out the gully on the imagery was like, yeah, not feeling the steep terrain, and especially with descending it on the way back with the heavy pack on.
Yeah.
It's a bit wet in there too, so.
Which is an important skill in itself, knowing when to turn back.
For sure. You want to like trust your inner compass for that kind of thing, right?
But you did not turn back on this particular mission, did you?
I thought about it. But
what drove you to push on?
I mean, you got to think about the bigger picture, right? It's a project that's been going on for basically 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
It's the last peaks. This is the literal last trip to get it done and like seal it.
Yes, and you've already come this far.
Yeah, and I just basically it takes a whole day to pack for this trip and to get your ass to the end of this Forest Service road.
Yeah.
Then we spent a whole day doing a grueling approach, carrying a ton of heavy weight, and these guys want to turn around. It's like, man, I don't want to do that again. And then we have to bring the packs out too. So this is going to suck, even if we just bail.
Yeah.
And I was still personally comfortable with the terrain ahead, and we didn't really know if it would go yet. Like, we were just scratching the surface. So I was like, man, I kind of want to just like see if it goes, and if it's dangerous, I'll turn around, and if it's not, I'll get it done. So that was it.
You got it done.
Yep.
What's going through your head when you're by yourself out there pushing? Have you ever been this remote solo before?
No,
is this like,
definitely not.
How do you deal with the mental aspect?
It's definitely a certain amount of stress that gets put on you the second it's like you commit and you're leaving your buddies behind, for sure.
What do you have a mantra? Do you have something that you tell yourself when you're out there, similar to your biathlon days? How do you keep that mental space where it needs to be productive?
Honestly, I think a big part of it was just like, how bad do I want it? Like, just going for it, and you're just out there working hard the whole day, so you don't have a ton of room for like getting too much in your head. You're like grinding, and
I agree. It's very task oriented.
Exactly.
I've done some small backcountry missions, mostly on split board, and you don't even realize how quick the time is going by when you're out there, and you're just like, okay, this is what I need to do next. This is the next objective. We got to get here. We got to get there. Wild. What is going through your thought when you're standing on the final peak of your 2-year mission, 58 peaks later? What's going through your head?
I mean, obviously stoked.
Yeah,
I was like, I was screaming up there. Yeah, it was a crazy buildup because that terrain out there around Clemenceau and Tusk is very glaciated.
Yeah.
And this time of year was good because it's still spring, good coverage, and if you started a smart time, it's crusty, so your chances of punching through a hole in the glacier crevasse are low, but not zero. So there's a little bit of tension right until the very end. Yeah. So that was interesting. It wasn't like I'm with my buddies and we just mosey up the last peak and woo, yeah. It wasn't any of that. It was like, okay, like it felt like a fight to the end for sure, a little bit. So yeah, it was. I think it honestly made it a little more special. I mean, it would obviously be amazing to celebrate the last one with my buddies, but for sure. I had plenty of summits with them along the way, and it was an experience in and of itself. I mean, I'll never forget it for the circumstances.
Dude, making that final push by yourself is like, damn. That is an insane story.
I would never have planned it that way,
Yeah.
ever. In a million years would I be like, yeah, Clemenceau, I'm going to go do that solo without a helicopter.
Yeah.
Hell no. It's because of the circumstances that it happened, which is just insane. But
It sounds
that's how the cookie crumbled. So
like you almost hit perfect circumstances. Like it just sounds like along the way, even though you did have obstacles, your own perseverance kind of made them surmountable.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here talking about it, man.
it's pretty crazy. It's
That's
a little bit
wild.
surreal still.
What was the toughest peak of them all? And can you take us through that journey?
Yeah, good question. There are generally a few that are considered the toughest. You've got the good sirs that are like just a big pile of choss, super loose, so considered pretty dangerous, like the Russian roulette of the list.
Oh my God.
So yeah, a little sketchy for sure. But then you have Robson, that's up there, for sure. Biggest mountain in the range, obviously.
Iconic,
it's so iconic. And then there's cornices, tons of glacier, bigger crevasses on that than on other peaks.
Yeah.
And just a whole bunch of things. Ice chunks that can come flying down at you if you're like going up a couloir, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely the hardest I'd say was Mount Alberta. That one, have you heard of it?
I have not heard of it.
Okay, yeah.
Where is it? How did you get there and how did you summit it?
Yeah, basically you can't actually see it from any highway. So
That's probably why I don't know where it is.
yeah, it's but I like the name Alberta. It's like
For
it's
sure.
it's pretty iconic, pretty memorable, and yeah, basically you drive a bit north of the Icefields Info Center, and then you cross the Wapta River, I think it's called. So that can be a little chilly at times, but not too crazy in the grand scheme of river crossings.
Yeah.
And then, you get up there, you get kind of on the shoulder of one of these other 11,000er objectives.
Yeah.
Actually, so you're just passing by these other peaks on the list. And then you see this thing, and it's just the big, intimidating east face of Mount Alberta. And Mount Alberta, basically, to describe it, it's like, consider like a shark fin, but of rock.
Yeah.
So that paints a good picture. It's like extremely steep east and west faces.
Yeah.
And then it's got a ridge like a kilometer long to reach the tippy top. So yeah,
So it's short, but it's steep.
it's not even super short. It's like wide.
Okay.
And very steep on either side.
Yeah.
And sharp ridge.
Amazing.
So yeah, you look at this
Very
thing and you're
cool.
like, we're climbing that. Like that thing's still a few kilometers away from the shoulder and it looks gnarly. And people consider it the hardest or it's kind of a debate between Robson and Alberta when Alberta's dry, like bone dry.
Yeah.
But if it has any snow on it, without a question, the hardest. And me and my buddies get to the shoulder. It's like what we thought would be the best timing of the year. Just like nice, warm, week-long window in August, I think it was. And we finally get a view of this thing, and it has snow on the upper face.
Oh, no.
And like a bit of snow in the like kind of gully that you use on your way up and then along some of the ridge. So we're just like, oh God, this
boy.
isn't looking so good. So we chilled there for like 90 minutes. I for sure thought we were done. Like we were gonna, be retreating back to the car and pivot to a different objective. But yeah, it's there's something to be said about when you've got like a bunch of super motivated, tough mountaineers and you've all gotten your butts out there, done some of the approach, and you all want it pretty bad.
Yeah.
That you're gonna want to keep pushing. So yeah, as much as I was thinking we're gonna turn around, we ended up keeping on going until the hut, which is kind of like below the mountain. Stayed there a night, and then we were kind of planning. Okay, let's like maybe there's the kind of a bivvy spot halfway up the mountain, so we'll go there. Maybe we'll scope out the upper mountain. If it's good, we'll go. If it's not, maybe we'll stay an extra day, wait for it to melt out. But anyway, next morning, 7 a.m. Definitely should have started earlier, but we're going.
Where she goes?
Yeah, where she goes. Need that sleep, right? Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're starting. Get up the lower half of this mountain, which in and of itself isn't the most simple thing.
Yeah.
It's still tough. But then we get to the halfway point. It's kind of a nice ledge to chill a bit, ditch all the sleeping gear, and
Summit push.
off we go to the hard stuff. And boy, was it the real deal. Like,
what does the hard stuff look like? What does this travel entail for those that might not know?
Yeah, very much hands-on. I don't know if you know climbing grades, but it's like 5.5, 5.6.
Yeah, that's
so it's not
that's
like
near the end.
It's
like,
not hard by any means. It's not like proper rock climbing, but in terms of like the easiest way,
for sure.
Yeah,
Wild.
Pretty wild. So yeah, at a certain point, it's getting so sustained, and there's no rest points. So you're like clipping to anchors that are like set up from other parties because you don't want to like let go of the mountain like that steep. It's just sustained, like,
oh my goodness,
and slabby. It's spooky. And then some of the gully had snow in it, so we're like kind of getting off route. At one point we had to rappel to get back to the correct side of this stupid snowy gully. Like, it was just an adventure in and of itself. And by the time we get to the start of the summit ridge, it was 5 p.m. Yeah. And
so
one of my it was 4 of us, which a bit bigger than we should have had, but that's how she went. And one of my buddies was like, "Oh, should we turn around? It's getting pretty late." But we were so close. There was no turning around. We all wanted it pretty bad, and regardless, we were going to be benighted.
There you go. Right?
We went for it. Super complicated ridge, like not an easy ridge walk. I mean, you might think dark. Lady Mac, like, oh, a bit exposed, but this is like pinnacles you're going around and like some face climbing, and then there's snow at the end. Yeah. And we're doing like body belays. I don't know if you know what that is. That's where you're tied to each other. You're the anchor. Yeah. And he's climbing. And if he falls off, it's you guys that's holding him. Man. So a little gnarly. You're just hoping he doesn't fall.
I just got sweaty like thinking about that. That's nuts.
Pretty full on. But then we finally get to the summit. Spend like 5 minutes there taking some photos and like thinking about our decisions, and then reversing the whole thing because we wanted to get the hell out of there. It was 7 p.m. when we reached the tippy top. So took 2 hours to reverse this ridge. Yeah. Get back to like the kind of notch we had reached at 5 p.m. before that.
We dumped your packs and all that?
No, we dumped the gear halfway down the mountain. Oh. So it took 2 hours just to reverse the ridge.
Okay, crazy. Yeah.
And now it's 9 p.m. and the sun's setting in the west as we drop down the east face to start our rappels, and we're just plunged into darkness.
Oh my God.
And it was like, gnarly. Basically, we're doing 60-meter rappels, and it's 4 of us. So first guy goes, kind of sets up the rappel, finds the next anchor, then waits, next guy goes, waits, next guy goes, waits, next guy goes, and then you pull the rope and do the next one. So there's a lot of waiting in there, and it was weird. Like, the time passes kind of slow but then fast at the same time. Like, you're grinding. Like, at a certain point we're still above 3,000 meters. Like, this is I think Alberta's the 6th highest in the Canadian Rockies, so it's like probably 3,500 meters high or something. And we're still well above 3,000, so it gets cold quick
for sure.
And like, you'll do a few rappels and think time's going slow, and look down at the watch and it's like, holy crap, it's 3 a.m. Like, that kind of deal.
Wild.
And just a wild experience, like sitting there just like shivering on the ledge waiting for your turn to rappel, and just being stoked when you get to coil the rope because it's something to do to keep you warm.
Do any of you guys ever like get spooked out there or admit to each other like, hey man, I'm spooked now? Or like, you guys all seem tough as nails.
I think it was mutually understood that we were all a bit like, Jesus, we're deep in it now.
Is it better to talk about it when you're in those moments, or to just, is there like a silent understanding of what we're doing needs our utmost focus?
Yeah, I think the latter.
Yeah.
The latter. You just kind of try to keep it together so everybody else can too. But it was like probably a dozen rappels in the dark through the night. And by the time we were done our last rappel, it was 7 a.m. and the sun was rising in the east. And then we got to our bivy ledge and passed out for a few hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yup. Definitely the hardest and craziest thing I've ever done in my life, for sure.
Wild. Yeah. What a story. What's next for you? What could you possibly be planning next?
I mean, I consider the Canadian Rockies an excellent training ground for like the bigger stuff, and I'm only 26, so I don't feel burnt out. So I'd like to go bigger. Yeah, I took a little bit of a rest after the list.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought I might want to chill for longer, but I mean, it's been like a little over a month and I'm getting after it again. So I guess there's no stopping it. But
I mean, you're already in shape. You already seems like you got the mental aspect down. So like, why? You kind of gets addicting, I would assume, right?
Oh yeah, it's so fun. But yeah, I just went to the Bugaboos for the first time recently for a little porter job. I'm going to be going back soon, I think, for a little trip. I've been checking out the Purcells. So yeah, just some stuff in different areas that I'm not used to exploring. But I do have plans for Peru for next summer and the Alps maybe the next year. So
getting higher in altitude.
Yeah, next year I'd like to see how the body does above 6,000. So
very cool. We'll
see how that goes. Yeah.
Well, man, I'm telling you, I'm going to be following along. Do you got sponsors you want to shout out or anyone that's helped you along the way that you want to thank?
Yeah, for sure. I'll shout out Rosignol, Garmin, Can Fund, and yeah, my friends and family that supported the journey. It was, pretty epic.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. What advice would you give someone out there that may be listening who's inspired by this conversation, not just about alpinism or mountaineering, but just about accomplishing goals in itself?
Yeah, I like that question. I would say I've naturally found that I'm like a pretty good goal setter.
Yeah.
Throughout my life. And set them high for sure. Like I never would have expected to get the speed record or the like youngest completion record on the 11ers. A few years before doing them, I wasn't even sure I'd ever be comfortable doing some of them. I remember looking at trip reports for even some of the ones that aren't considered the pinnacle. Yeah, and it's like, geez, that's gnarly. Like maybe one day, but I don't know. But yeah, if you just work up in increments, you can get there. So I mean, that can apply to more than just mountains. For sure. Like anything. Absolutely. You just got to do the necessary steps, level up along the way, and you can get there. So
that's like, I've said this on the podcast many times, like the bodybuilder is not just becomes a bodybuilder. He has to choose one day to start going to the gym, right? It's like yourself as an alpinist. There's one day where you decided, I'm going to go for a hike or I'm going to go conquer this one objective. And then from that day forward, you are an alpinist because you chose to be.
And you might not know you're on the alpinist path when you start.
For sure.
It's kind of like a metamorphosis.
All of a sudden you look at like, oh yeah, maybe I am. And like, I don't know, it's by pursuing the task that you become what you want.
Exactly. You have like this destination and you kind of act out what that person would do to get there, you know?
For sure, man. Yeah. Well, your story is inspiring. I want to thank you for sharing with us because not everyone does. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are doing crazy things that don't want to talk about it, that don't want it to be out there. But it's some of the most inspiring stories that we have in the Bow Valley, man. Like, what you've done is crazy. You've got a fan out of me. I'm gonna be following your journey along. Where can people follow you on social media, your website, if you want to let them know?
Yeah, sure. Haldan.Borglum on Instagram and haldanborglum.com if you want to see the latest trip reports. I'll send you an email if you sign up for those.
So sick. I definitely recommend it. If it is your first time joining us, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Every little bit counts. Costs you nothing, helps us tremendously. If you want to support us, we don't ask for donations. We offer sick merch. So go to our website, overheardpodbanff.com. You can find all that stuff there. It is made by Defending Awesome, another local company, which is one of our partners. They're so dope. Jim Kwan, big shout out, the whole team. So dope. Any closing thoughts? Anyone you want to shout out or anything like that?
Not so much. I think we covered a good chunk of stuff, but sick. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dude,
appreciate it.
Thanks so much for chatting. Your story is incredible. That's all the time we have. So thank you all for joining us. Like every week, we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.